I wouldn't say forcing you, because you can always abort the mission. But if you don't choose to abort the mission, he will have his way. See, I would say, no, God, I don't want to be a leader, but, I surrender to you. And so it's sort of like, hold on. He says, okay, you said that you surrendered to me, so do this. I go, no, but I don't want to be a leader, but I surrendered to you. And so as you say, not my will, your will be done, what tends to happen is his will does get done. And often it includes you being in a place of influence and leadership to actually bring about change. So in your pairs, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do this for you two, that's you two online, but Sam and Joe, you two, you three, no, you two, you three, you two, all right? And for Maria and Rob, maybe you can just write it down on a piece of paper and type it through the time. Spirit fingers, yes, Rob. I see your spirit fingers. Okay, I just want you to tell the person next to you, like I did, in 1 minute. I don't want a novel and an autobiography of your leadership life. Just your leadership steps, your leadership journey. Just the three of you, two of you, two of you, two of you, and type there. Just really, really quickly. You've got 5 minutes to go between the two of you. To move to a higher level of leadership. What is one thing, just one thing, that you've had to overcome? Everyone's had to overcome different things. You're all going to have a turn. There's no quiet ones in my class. You're going to go like this, and you're going to go all the way around, and then end with computer people. Ready? Starting with Fermi.
Okay.
Definitely, like my personal thoughts and things that I wasn't capable to be a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
I did something similar.
Yeah.
Feeling like really that's not for me, but somehow I gotta do it. Yeah.
Yes. Good. Feelings of
Yeah.
inadequacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. True.
Biggest one,
Unforgiveness. Tell us about that. For leadership.
Yeah, well, I had to let go of something and stop holding them with deep roots.
Yeah, letting go of the past.
Holding grudges and let it go and let go. And until I did that, I was in constant torment.
Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mick. Cosmo.
I think every time somebody's asked me to do something in a leadership role that they made a mistake, or they should go ask somebody else, that somebody's more qualified or better.
Yeah. Yeah, someone else is definitely more qualified than me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's-
No, that's
yeah.
true.
It's
Good.
going to overcome.
That's a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced that, but I've also experienced like letting go of pride was one that definitely ability as a leader to be able to listen to other people,
Yeah.
even when you disagree with them, is
Yeah.
hugely, hugely important. And I don't think I would have been able to do what I have until I had figured that one out.
Yeah. So coming under authority, is that what you mean? Humility to come under.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But I really do mean pride in the sense that I won't. In the sense that I think that I can. It wasn't so much about listening to other people. It was about thinking that I can do this better than other people.
Yeah.
And that needs to go. That's no good.
Yeah.
That's not helpful.
Thank you for being so honest. Samuel.
It's to move to a higher level of leadership. A lot I've learned during it. One main thing was keeping my emotions one side and understanding the whole team together. And think as a team what we can achieve together.
Yeah. So working as a team.
Working as a team.
Brilliant. Fantastic, Joe.
And mine's the opposite of that in a sense, because I'm just, let's get the job done. I've got to do this, I've got to get it done. That if I ask someone else to do it and they don't do it how in my mind I perceive it should be done, I can unintentionally put pressure on them.
Yeah.
And I've been called on it. And they make me uncomfortable because that's why I've had to go, sorry, as a leader, I need to give you the task, but then I need to step back. And let you just get on with it.
Empowering, delegation. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Desiree?
I'd probably actually have to say the same. I think I try to take too much. when I'm in a leadership role and I don't delegate enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Robert, one thing you've learnt.
Probably the biggest thing is around being present and having the capacity to be present. So in any conversation, you're actually giving the full attention to the person rather than thinking about the 15 other meetings you got that day.
Very good. Being present in the particular circumstance. Maria, anything you want to add on what you've had to overcome in leadership?
No, not yet.
Not yet. That's okay. Beautiful. Okay. So every time God calls us to a new opportunity, a new promotion, a new level of leadership, there's always going to be stuff that we're going to have to deal with. And really, that's what discipleship is. You're dealing with your stuff and actually trying to live out your destiny. So leadership is a really, really important part of our lives. Now, in regards to leadership, what is leadership? So in your, this is basic for some of you, I know, especially if you've done the intro, but it's just important that we get one definition that we all agree on, that is what is leadership. So can you, in a couple of words, in a sentence, write down what you think leadership is? And then I'll tell you what the official, there's so many different leadership definitions, but the one that they want you to know is from Ken Blanchard, and I'll tell you that in a moment. So in your own words, define leadership. What is leadership?
Isn't being influenced part of leadership?
Leadership, the ability to boss people and make them do what you want them to do for your benefit.
Wow.
Wow. That's good leadership. Come on. Using threats and force to get what you want from everybody else. No. What is a good leadership definition? All right. Leadership is, Ken Blanchard says it this way, the process of influencing others to accomplish objectives. Okay? So it's a process. Number one, it's ongoing. It's a process of what? Influence or influencing who? Other people. So a leader must influence others to do what? To accomplish objectives. So that's what leadership is, a process of influencing others to accomplish objectives. Now, there are 4 key elements to the process of leadership according to the course that we're learning. And so let's just put that up here on the board. Leadership has 4 key elements. Number 1, the leader-follower relationship. Okay, that affects so much. If the leader and the follower don't have a good relationship, if there's no trust in that relationship, if the trust has been broken, if it's a new leader, for example, for some of you, I'm a new leader, you haven't sat under me very long. So because I'm new, because the trust isn't there, because their reputation isn't there, maybe you're a bit hesitant to follow, right? So one of the things that people say to us is, how does Centrepoint Church raise such a large miracle offering, right? Especially in hard economic times, what did we do? Is it our marketing? Not really. Is it the projects? Well, there's lots of good projects out there. Do you know why our people give and give ridiculously every year? Because there's relationship and trust in that relationship. It's been 14 years of the same pastor leading the same congregation, telling them this is what we want to achieve, and then the next year we achieve it. And they go, oh, he kept his word, the money went to where it was going, the building was built, the place was purchased. So next year, there's depth in that relationship, there's trust in that relationship, there's reputation behind relationship, confidence grows. And so, you know, this year was a tough year, was an extremely tough year. And I expected our church to give around 200,000 to our miracle offering, much less than the previous year. But literally we've received 318 or 19,000 so far. And it blows me away. And people go, wow, you've got such a great church. But you know what? Every time I hear that, I realize that the people trust us. And it's humbling. And it's huge. And I want to make sure that I never do anything to steal that relationship from that relationship, or our board doesn't do anything to steal from that relationship, or our pastors don't do anything to steal, because that is more precious than even the miracle offering giving. There is such a high level of relationship, and when there's high relationship, you can change the world, right? When there's low relationship, you can't even ask people to move from that seat to that seat. I'm not going to do, what do you tell me to do? I'm not going to, because there's no relationship. But you know what? If there's relationship, people will literally be willing to give their all to bringing change. So relationship between the leader and follower is paramount. And we're going to actually learn about how to develop healthy relationships with the people that you lead, not out of manipulation's sake, but because God's called you to be an influencer, to bring about change. But you can't do that if you're stealing from the relationship, right? You've got to add to that relationship and bless that relationship. So the first one is the leader-follower relationship. The second thing that's crucial is this whole concept of influence. What type of influence do you have? So we talked about transactional leadership, which is leadership that uses rewards and punishment. Okay, that's one way of influencing people. All right, turn up on time and do this course and you'll get your salary at the end of the week. Cool. All right, then there's others. Turn up, Sam, do this course. If not, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to really punch you and hurt you. Okay, I'll do the course. That's still influence, right? Comical because I can't beat Sam up, but it's still influence, right? You know, the other one is, hey, Daniel, if you don't turn up and do this course, I'm going to tell everybody what you did. And he hasn't done anything, right? But that's also influence, okay? Or I could go, hey, Fermi, I really see leadership in you. I believe in you. I really think when I was in prayer, you should do this course. Like God spoke to me about that. And because we have relationship, he does it. That's also influence. So when we're looking at the whole thing of leadership, we've got to look at the leader-follower relationship, but we've also got to look at the influence. What type of influence do we have over these different leaders to help bring about change? Here's the third thing about the leadership process, the key element, and that is your objectives. All right? Knowing what you believe, knowing what you're wanting to change, communicating it so that everybody knows. All right? So can somebody tell me what is Centrepoint Church here to achieve? Maybe in 9 words.
Rescue the lost, restore the broken, release the willing.
Rescue the lost, restore the broken, release the willing. All right? We're here to rescue the lost people of this nation and the nations of the world. We're here to restore the broken, which is discipleship and train them to be more like Christ. And then we're also here to release the willing, who are going to help us do this. Those 3 things is our objectives. That's our vision. That's our goal. That's our plan. That's what we're supposed to do. We need to be able to articulate it, because if people come together and we're all supposed to be doing this, what are we supposed to be doing? I don't know. Well, hold on, we've got a goal, we've got a vision. And so articulating that, communicating that, outworking that is extremely important. Sometimes you can have a high leader-follower relationship, you can have great influence, but you haven't articulated what you're about, what you want to change, and that's not good leadership, right? And finally, the last one is the whole process of change. How are we going to go from here and take everybody over to here? It's no point just saying, we're going to go over there. We're going to go over there. Hallelujah. God's going to give us that spot. Hallelujah. We're going to go over there. How? That's just the vision. God's told us. And every year we come back on Vision Sunday and Pastor Joel again is talking about one day we're going to be over there. One day, church. One day we're going to buy that building. One day we're going to I don't know how. I don't have it. God's going to do it. How many know if we preach that message for 14 years, we won't have a church, right? What do we need to do? We need a process. We need a board. We need business people. We need a miracle offering. We need someone to look for land. We need someone to draw up the building. We need someone to make that happen. We need people to give. We need a fund run from the city to the church to raise capital. Everything must have a process for change, right? Otherwise, you can have great relationships. You can have big influence, and you even might have an objective. But in order to get to that objective, there must be a process of change. And so we'll be learning over the next 15 sessions how to build on each of these things so that you have the practical skills, the biblical skills to then become stronger leaders. All right, what makes Christian leadership distinct from non-Christian leadership? Write it down in your book. What makes Christian leadership distinct from non-Christian leadership? Because after all, we're here for advanced Christian leadership. Even though the course you said advanced leadership, we're really actually here for Christian leadership. All right, who would like to share?
I believe grace.
Grace?
Would show people more grace than in a secular world.
Yeah. Christian leadership shows grace.
Sorry. Just the way you treat people in general.
Yeah. So how are you treating badly?
No. I guess it fits into grace.
Grace, loving,
Yeah.
caring. Yeah, great. Anyone else? Anything different?
Like the added, like, I guess, development of something like the atmosphere rather than just like their
Yes.
emotional or like progressive state. Like,
Christian leadership invests into investment into their spirit, not just their physical and emotional lives.
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
That I think is crucial. Most of the time in the secular world, non-Christians are, and it could be some Christians, I don't know, but you're pushing people down in order for yourself to get up to the top of the ladder. But as a Christian, you are so
Gold
grounded.
star. Servant leadership.
Yeah.
All right. So far, Joe's got the gold star for the day. I only give one gold star out so you can steal it off her if you come up with a better, very non-Christian, I know, if you come up with a better answer. So that's good, very good. Servant leadership is a big part of it. Anything else?
Christian leaders have a relationship with Jesus,
Yes. And?
which then flows through their characteristics into leading people and their Holy Spirit as well.
Good. So they're Christ-like
That's it.
character.
Yeah.
Good. And you actually covered two things there. Real Christian leaders are supposed to be spirit-led.
Yeah.
All right? Good. One more thing. What's the end goal? Similar to the investment into their spirit.
Kingdom-minded.
That's right. That the kingdom of God will extend. Right? That's Christian leadership. So even if you're a business person, you're a judge, you're a lawyer, you're a teacher, whatever leadership you have, if you want your leadership to carry the culture of Christ, Christian leadership, then your desire would be to be a servant leader, to promote and bless them, to live in a Christ-like way, to be obedient to the scriptures, right? To be spirit-led, to have a Christ-like character, to invest into their spirit, be loving and gracious, and be kingdom-minded. So these are the distinctives to maybe non-Christian leadership, all right? Which tends to be a little bit more the kingdom that they're trying to build is themselves. It's about me first at the expense of others. And so that's really important. So this is how Jesus modeled leadership to us, didn't he? So he modeled this stuff. Hence your book's title, Lead Like Jesus. All right? When Jesus, he was the best leader, he changed the world, he influenced and is still influencing people thousands of years after his death. Cultures, legal systems, education systems, all been shaped by Jesus. He's extremely influential. He brought about so much change, brought about kingdom objectives to earth. So he's one of, well, I would say the best leader that we can ever study to look at. But if you look at his life and the way he carried himself, it was completely distinct or counter-cultural to the leadership of the day. The leadership of the day said, in order for you to go higher, you must push everyone else below. In order for you to get more, you have to be served, you know, to be the biggest leader on the block. But Jesus comes and he tips it all on his head and goes, let me tell you the best way to lead. You want to be first? Be last. If you want to be leader, serve them all. Blessed are the meek or the gentle or the kind-hearted, for they will inherit the earth. I mean, everyone sitting there, I mean, can you imagine the leaders of the town, the Pharisees, the kings? You're expecting leadership to be gentle? The only way leadership worked in that time was to be forceful and brutal and violent, and you either do it or you'll get punished. Jesus says, oh, no, don't do that. I'll show you leadership. Takes out his outer garments, puts on a towel around his waist, and starts to wash the disciples' feet. And he goes, this is leadership. Now you need to understand, it was customary for people to get their feet washed at that time, but it was always the lowest of the lowest slave that did that. And on this particular day, the lowest of the lowest slave, whoever that may have been, wasn't there or wasn't doing his job. And so the other 12 disciples were in that room. They knew that something had to be done. They knew that people's feet had to be washed, but none of them thought to get down on their knees and wash. I am not washing her feet. In fact, she should be washing my feet. Come on, I'm the pastor. What? Like, she's going to my church. I'm not washing her feet. No way. I'm not washing her feet. I mean, she goes to the Maddington campus. You know, I'm not washing his feet. You know, whatever. And so they all had this thing of why they should be served, why they should be washed and they should be refreshed by someone else. And Jesus doesn't argue with that. He just shows them a different way of looking at leadership. Guys, you've got it wrong. Stop arguing like the leaders of this world who says, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. No, this is how you, if you want to be the greatest, do this. Get down and serve somebody else. And they were shocked. Absolutely shocked. cultural. When you start taking the biblical principles of leadership from Jesus' life and you apply them into your secular world, you will blow the minds of the people that work with you and for you. But it'll still be the best form of leadership that can ever be displayed. His word, his example is not irrelevant. People say, oh, but that's Jesus, that's the old. Can I just tell you, if you start to apply the principles of leadership that his word tells us that Jesus demonstrated, you will see a wonderful turnaround in your ministry, in your workplace, in the atmosphere, in your staff, etc. So let me just encourage you by saying, lead like Jesus. His leadership principles are still relevant. And if you apply them, you will see a massive turnaround. His leadership was motivated by love, and love is always done for the benefit of others. Okay, so if you want to describe or define love, it's not a feeling, it's not goosebumps, it's not, oh, it's none of those things. Love is a desire to bless somebody else, even if it costs you something. And when something is motivated by love, it often will cost you something, but it will bless somebody else. And that's how Jesus led. All right? So that is the end of our first session. That's the summary of the whole course in 50 minutes. You need to get up, go to the bathroom, have a coffee, have a tea. We're going to talk about the difference between leadership and ministry in the next session. Grab some water, eat some nuts, and I'll see you guys here in 9 minutes.